Ever wonder if that little bite you give your cat could be killing them slowly? Most cat owners do it, a piece of tuna here, a sip of milk there, and never realize the danger. But some of the most common foods in your home are toxic to cats, and the signs often show up too late. Today, we're exposing 15 common foods that quietly destroy your cat's health. Let's start with the one that seems harmless, but isn't. Number 1. Tuna. It's the food your cat would probably choose over everything else, and it might be the one slowly hurting them the most. Tuna is addictive to cats. That strong smell, it lights up their brain like a reward machine. But here's what most people don't realize. Tuna made for humans lacks key nutrients cats need, like taurine, vitamin E, and certain B vitamins. Feed it regularly, and your cat could develop dangerous nutritional deficiencies. Even worse, tuna can contain high levels of mercury, which builds up in the body over time and can quietly damage their nervous system and kidneys. So even if your cat seems fine now, you might be watching a slow decline without knowing it. And believe it or not, there's a fruit, yes, a fruit, that can cause sudden kidney failure in cats, even if they just lick it. We'll get to that one soon. 2. Onions and garlic. If your cat eats even a sliver of onion or garlic, it doesn't just upset their stomach, it can destroy their red blood cells. This family of foods, onions, garlic, chives, leeks, is highly toxic to cats. The compounds inside them break down red blood cells and can lead to Heinz body anemia, a condition where their blood can't carry oxygen properly. The scary part? Symptoms don't always show up right away. So your cat might seem fine after sneaking a bite of leftovers, but days later, they could be weak, lethargic, or even struggling to breathe. That's why even trace amounts in broths, baby food, or table scraps can be dangerous. Cooked or raw, it doesn't matter. Garlic powder is especially potent, and it's hidden in more foods than you'd think. And hey, before we move to the next one, make sure to hit like and subscribe. It helps this video reach more cat owners who need to avoid these deadly mistakes. 3. Dairy. You've seen it in cartoons, a cute cat lapping up a bowl of milk. But in real life, it's more like giving them a stomachache in a glass. Most adult cats are lactose intolerant. That means their bodies don't produce enough of the enzyme lactase, which is needed to digest the lactose in milk and dairy products. When they drink milk, it ferments in their gut, causing gas, bloating, cramps, and diarrhea. So while your cat might act excited about cheese, yogurt, or a saucer of milk, it's not because it's good for them, it's because they like the fat content. But the payoff is short-lived, and the discomfort hits soon after. Worse, some flavored yogurts and dairy-based desserts contain hidden sugars or artificial sweeteners that can make things even more dangerous. It's not a harmless treat, it's a slow gut bomb, and your cat deserves better. 4. Grapes and raisins. This one feels so random, it's almost hard to believe. But even a single grape can send your cat into kidney failure. We teased this earlier. There's a fruit that's surprisingly deadly to cats. And here it is. Grapes, and especially raisins, have been linked to acute kidney failure in both cats and dogs. The exact toxic compound still isn't fully understood, which makes it even more dangerous. There's no safe amount. Some cats can eat a grape and seem totally fine. Others might collapse within hours. That unpredictability is what makes it terrifying. Signs usually show up fast: vomiting, lethargy, decreased urination, and by the time you notice something's wrong, their kidneys could already be shutting down. Even worse, raisins show up in all kinds of snacks: cookies, trail mix, granola bars, and cats are curious. One drop bite is all it takes. This isn't just a don't feed warning, it's a keep it out of the house kind of danger. 5. Chocolate. You already know chocolate is bad for cats, but most people forget just how easy it is to leave it within reach. Chocolate contains 2 compounds that are toxic to cats: theobromine and caffeine. These stimulate their nervous system and heart, and cats can't process them the way we can. The result? Vomiting, tremors, seizures, and in high enough doses, it can stop their heart. And the darker the chocolate, the more dangerous it gets. Baking chocolate and dark chocolate have the highest levels of theobromine, meaning that one square left on a countertop could be fatal to a curious cat. But here's the real problem. Chocolate shows up in a lot more than just candy bars. Cookies, cake, protein bars, hot cocoa mix, anything with cocoa powder is a risk. Most owners are careful around the holidays, but it's those random Tuesday nights when you leave a brownie on the coffee table that can be deadly. 6. Macadamia nuts. They're tiny, they're buttery, and they're often left out in bowls. But macadamia nuts are surprisingly toxic to cats. Most people associate the danger of these nuts with dogs, but cats can also experience severe reactions. Even a small amount can lead to symptoms like weakness, vomiting, tremors, and overheating. What makes this one especially sneaky is where it shows up in trail mix, cookies, nut bars, and as gifts during the holidays. If your cat hops up on the counter and licks a few crumbs or a discarded wrapper, that can be enough to trigger a reaction. And since nuts are calorie-dense, just a few can overload their system, especially for smaller or older cats. It's not a snack, it's a neurological hazard in disguise. 7. Raw dough. If your cat ever licks raw dough off the counter, it's not just a mess, it's a medical emergency. Unbaked bread or pizza, as dough made with yeast continues to rise after it's swallowed. That means it can literally expand inside your cat's stomach, causing extreme bloating, pain, and even internal damage. But it gets worse. As the yeast ferments in their gut, it produces alcohol, which is absorbed into their bloodstream, leading to disorientation, seizures, and in severe cases, coma or death. This can happen shockingly fast. Just a small piece of dough left out while you're cooking can send your cat into crisis mode. And later in this video, we'll cover a sweet ingredient found in sugar-free gum and diet foods that's even more toxic, and it's one most cat owners have never even heard of. 8. Alcohol. It only takes a few licks. One sip of alcohol can shut your cat's system down completely. Unlike humans, cats have no tolerance for ethanol, the kind found in beer, wine, liquor, and even in things like fermented foods, uncooked dough, as we just saw, and certain cleaning products. Once ingested, it's absorbed rapidly and starts affecting their central nervous system almost immediately. Early signs include vomiting, staggering, and lethargy, but the real danger hits fast. Seizures, dangerously low body temperature, respiratory failure, coma, even death. And no, it's not funny or cute when a cat sips a cocktail. Even a few drops of alcohol can be fatal, especially for smaller cats or kittens. 9. Xylitol. It's marketed as healthy, but for your cat, it's a chemical trap, and even a crumb could be lethal. Xylitol is a sugar substitute found in sugar-free gum, mints, baked goods, toothpaste, peanut butter, and diet snacks. It's extremely toxic to dogs, and while cats are less likely to eat sweet things, they're not immune. If they do ingest it, the consequences can be immediate and severe. It triggers a massive insulin release, leading to a sudden drop in blood sugar, a condition called hypoglycemia. Within minutes, your cat could experience vomiting, muscle tremors, loss of coordination, seizures, or collapse. And because xylitol hides in products we never think twice about, like peanut butter you might use to hide a pill or sugar-free cookies left on the counter, it's a stealth threat. And while we're talking about hidden dangers, there's another everyday food that seems totally safe, even healthy, but it can quietly trigger vomiting, diarrhea, or worse. We'll cover that in a bonus tip at the end. 10. Fat trimmings and bones. Sharing scraps might feel generous, but for your cat, it could be deadly. Leftover meat trimmings, especially cooked fat, are hard for cats to digest and can trigger pancreatitis, a painful and potentially life-threatening inflammation of the pancreas. The signs? Vomiting, belly pain, and sudden loss of appetite. But by the time you notice, the damage is already underway. Then there are the bones. Cooked bones, from chicken, fish, steak, can easily splinter and get lodged in the throat or puncture the intestines. Cats don't chew the way dogs do. They bite, tear, and swallow fast. That makes small, sharp fragments even more dangerous. Even if they've had bones before and were fine, the risk isn't worth it. One wrong bite could cost them everything. 11. Liver. Too much of a good thing can shut down organs. It's packed with nutrients, But too much liver can be just as deadly as poison. Liver is often thought of as a superfood for cats, and in tiny amounts, it can be a great source of vitamin A and protein. But here's the catch. Cats' bodies can't regulate vitamin A the way ours can. When they get too much, it builds up in their system over time, leading to a condition called hypervitaminosis A. The result? Bone deformities, joint pain, spine stiffness, and even organ damage. Some cats lose mobility, others stop eating or show signs of neurological distress. And by the time you connect the dots, it's often too late. What's scary is that this doesn't happen overnight. If you give liver as a treat or mix it into food often, you might be slowly harming them without realizing it. More isn't better, and in this case, healthy can become deadly. 12th, dog food. Why it's not just pet food, it's dangerous. It might seem harmless, but feeding your cat dog food is like fueling a Ferrari with diesel. Dog food isn't made for cats. It lacks essential nutrients cats need to survive, especially taurine, arachidonic acid, and specific B vitamins. These aren't optional, they're biologically required. Cats are obligate carnivores, meaning they must get certain nutrients from animal sources. And dog food just doesn't cut it. Even a few meals here and there might not show immediate harm, but long-term feeding can lead to blindness, heart failure, immune system breakdown, and serious developmental issues. In homes with both dogs and cats, the real risk comes when cats sneak bites out of the wrong bowl. It's easy to overlook, but dangerous to ignore. 13. Raw eggs, a double risk, salmonella, and vitamin deficiency. Raw eggs might seem natural, but for cats, they're a nutritional trap with a bacterial twist. First, there's the obvious risk, salmonella and E. coli. Just like in humans, these bacteria can cause vomiting, diarrhea, fever, and in serious cases, life-threatening infections. But cats are even more vulnerable, especially kittens, seniors, or those with weakened immune systems. But the hidden danger goes deeper. Raw egg whites contain a protein called avidin, which binds to biotin, a crucial B vitamin your cat needs for a healthy coat, skin, and metabolism. Over time, avidin blocks biotin absorption, leading to skin disorders, hair loss, and neurological problems. It's a double hit, risk of infection and long-term deficiency, all in one bite. So while raw food diets might be trending, this is one natural ingredient that can do more harm than good. 14. Salt, the everyday ingredient that can trigger a health crisis. A few salty crumbs might not seem like a big deal, but for your cat, it's a fast track to dehydration, poisoning, or worse. Cats are highly sensitive to sodium, and their tiny bodies can't process large amounts like we can. Just a few salty snacks, chips, pretzels, cured meats, or even tuna packed in brine can throw off their electrolyte balance. When salt levels spike, cats can experience vomiting, diarrhea, tremors, and seizures. In extreme cases, it leads to sodium ion poisoning, which can be fatal without immediate treatment. What makes this one sneaky is that salt is everywhere, often hidden in processed foods, broths, or even leftover crumbs on your plate. And because cats have a stronger sense of smell than we do, they're drawn to it. It's not just about avoiding obvious junk food. It's about realizing that what's mild for you can be deadly for them. 15. Nutmeg, the holiday spice that can wreck their nervous system. It smells cozy, it's in everything from cookies to cider. But for your cat, nutmeg is a hidden neurological threat. Nutmeg contains a compound called myristicin, which in cats can cause hallucinations, increased heart rate, high blood pressure, disorientation, and seizures. In large amounts, it becomes highly toxic, and even small amounts can trigger alarming symptoms in sensitive cats. The real danger? Nutmeg isn't just in baked goods. It's sprinkled in drinks, sauces, holiday dishes, and cats are curious. A lick of batter or a tiny dusting on the counter is all it takes. And because the reaction can be delayed, many owners don't realize what's happening until the symptoms are in full swing. It's the kind of spice that makes things taste festive and turns your cat's nervous system into a war zone.